Okay, we've had a look at D1, D2, D3, and finally we come to D4, which is all about your capability. And there's a couple of things that we're looking for when it comes to your capability. We're looking for development of your capability, or skills to do with your capability, and an understanding of how to go about developing that capability. Remember that in your proposal, you were asked to choose one, potentially two, but the SACE Board recommendation really is that you just pick one of the 7 Australian curriculum capabilities. So most of you picked either literacy or the personal and social capability. A couple of you went for ethical understanding. I think there might have been one of you who went numeracy. But on the whole, most of you chose either the literacy or the personal and social capability. And so there's a few different ways that you can demonstrate evidence of developing your capability, but the whole idea in your proposal was that you were going to pick your capability, and then in that Year 10 workbook document there were some dot points underneath each one, and I asked you to pick 3, and in your proposal you were supposed to write something along the lines of in order to develop in this capability, I intend to do these things. In the 8 pages of analysis, I now want to see that you have actually gone and done those things. And so my suggestion to you is that you would have fewer snapshots of how you've gone about developing these skills, but that they would be more in depth. You'd actually be able to talk about the way that you have gone through the process of developing that particular skill. If you've gone with the literacy one, you need to access and analyze appropriate primary and secondary sources. For each of your research processes, you should be able to talk about the fact that, okay, well, this was an interview that I conducted, so it was a primary source, and I knew that it was one that was appropriate because of the kind of person that I went and interviewed. And the person that I interviewed just happened to be connected to my topic in this particular way, and that's how I know that it was appropriate. In the same way with my survey, if I was wanting to survey school-aged children, then I made sure that school-aged children completed the survey, and not just put it on Facebook and have any old person to complete the survey. So I'm really looking to see that you've thought carefully about the dot points that you picked initially, and then also being able to talk in detail about how you've actually gone about trying to develop in that capability. It's not enough just to say, this is my capability and this is how I intend to develop it. I want to see that you're actually making comments right throughout the 8 pages of analysis, that you have been using each of the processes that you've used to try and develop in your capability. The more that you can talk about how you've developed across a range of processes, so if you've used books and websites and interviews and surveys and maybe action research, maybe it's journal articles, maybe it's videos, how have you gone about developing those skills in literacy using each of those methods? So at the bottom of each page, I'd love to see a small little paragraph about how you think you've gone about doing that. And so out of all of those little paragraphs, combined with what you said in the proposal about how you thought you would develop in the capability, and that will be enough for me to give you a grade for the D4 criteria. Soon, very soon, you'll be able to see some videos about how I go about assessing the outcome. The criteria there are S1, S2, and S3, and then also the evaluation E1, E2, and E3.